The rain poured heavily on the streets of Vancouver, casting a silvery sheen over the city's skyline. Keanu Reeves, bundled in a black jacket and carrying a leather satchel, walked briskly through the drizzle, the hood of his coat pulled low. He was in town for a charity event but had slipped away for a quiet evening stroll to clear his mind. As he passed a small park, something caught his attention, a lone figure sitting on a bench, barely protected by a tattered umbrella. Keanu paused, his actor's instincts alerting him to the unusual. The figure, a young girl, no older than 10, sat hunched over a piece of paper, furiously scribbling with a pencil that looked worn to the nub. She didn't seem to notice the rain soaking her worn sweater or the curious stares of the occasional passerby. Approaching her slowly, Keanu cleared his throat. "Hey there," he said gently, his voice barely rising above the rain's rhythm. The girl flinched, clutching the paper to her chest like a treasure. Her wide brown eyes met his, filled with a mix of fear and defiance. "Sorry," he said quickly, raising his hands to show he meant no harm. "I didn't mean to scare you. Are you, okay?" The girl didn't answer immediately. She glanced at his face, her expression softening slightly. Perhaps she recognized him, or maybe it was his calm demeanor that reassured her. Finally, she spoke, her voice small but steady. "I'm fine." Keanu knelt to her level, noting the faint tremble in her hands and the dark smudges beneath her eyes. "You're out here all alone in this weather. Shouldn't you be home?" "I don't have one," she replied bluntly, though her tone carried no bitterness, just stark truth. The answer hit Keanu like a gut punch. He sat back on his heels, choosing his words carefully. "Do you have somewhere safe to go?" The girl shook her head. "Not really. But I'm used to it." Keanu frowned, his mind racing. "What's your name?" "Olivia," she said, clutching her paper tighter. "Why do you care?" Keanu gave her a soft smile. "Because it looks like you're having a tough time. And I think I can help." His gaze shifted to the paper she was protecting. "Are you drawing?" Olivia hesitated, then nodded. "Yeah. It's something I do when I don't want to think too much." Keanu tilted his head, his curiosity piqued. "Can I see?" For a moment, she hesitated, her grip tightening on the damp page. Then, cautiously, she extended it to him. Keanu took it gently, shielding it from the rain with his hand. It was a detailed sketch of a cityscape, beautifully rendered despite the pencil's limitations. "This is incredible," he said sincerely. "You're really talented." Olivia shrugged, but her lips curved upward ever so slightly. "It's just a hobby." Keanu shook his head. "No, it's a gift." He returned the drawing, studying her face. "Where are your parents, Olivia?" Her small smile faded. "Gone. A long time ago." He nodded slowly, respecting her boundaries. "How about this, why don't we grab some hot chocolate?" "My treat. You can tell me more about your drawings." Olivia hesitated again, her eyes narrowing. "Why would you do that? You don't even know me." Keanu chuckled softly, standing up and extending a hand. "Because I've been where you are, feeling lost and like no one cares. Sometimes, you just need someone to remind you that you're not alone." For the first time, Olivia looked him in the eye, searching for any sign of deception. She must have found something in his earnest gaze because she finally reached out, placing her small, rain-chilled hand in his. As they walked toward a nearby cafe, Keanu's mind raced with thoughts about how he could help Olivia. Something told him this encounter was no accident, and he wasn't about to let her slip through the cracks of a world that seemed determined to forget her. The cafe was warm and welcoming, a refuge from the relentless rain outside. The hum of conversation mixed with the hiss of the espresso machine, creating a cozy atmosphere. Keanu guided Olivia to a corner booth, where she sat stiffly, clutching her soggy notebook. A server approached, her expression brightening when she recognized Keanu. Welcome. Can I get you something? Keanu smiled but subtly raised a finger to his lips, signaling discretion. The server nodded, taking the hint. Hot chocolate for the young lady, he said, glancing at Olivia. And a black coffee for me. As the server walked away, Olivia fidgeted in her seat. This is weird, she murmured, not meeting his gaze. Why are you helping me? Don't you have, famous people things to do? Keanu chuckled, leaning back in his seat. Famous people things. He tapped the table thoughtfully. Well, tonight, my famous people thing is making sure you're okay. Olivia looked skeptical but said nothing. When the drinks arrived, she stared at the steaming mug of hot chocolate, her fingers tracing the rim. After a moment, she lifted it to her lips, her eyes widening as she took a sip. It's good, she admitted quietly. See? Keanu grinned. Hot chocolate makes everything better. For a while, they sat in companionable silence. Keanu watched as Olivia relaxed, her small frame no longer hunched as if bracing for the worst. Finally, he spoke. So, Olivia, tell me about these drawings of yours. Do you dream of being an artist? She hesitated, her fingers gripping the mug. I don't know. I like drawing, but dreams don't really work out for people like me. Keanu leaned forward, his expression serious. What makes you say that? Olivia shrugged, her gaze dropping to the table. It's just how it is. I don't have money for art supplies, let alone school. And even if I did, who's going to care about some random girl's drawings? I care, Keanu said simply. Her head snapped up, her eyes narrowing. Why? I'm just a nobody. Keanu's face softened. You're not a nobody, Olivia. Nobody is. And you're wrong about people not caring. Look at me, I care, and I'm sitting right here. Olivia's lips quirked into a half-smile. You're weird, you know that. I've been told, Keanu replied, laughing. The laughter faded into a comfortable quiet. After a moment, Olivia opened her notebook, flipping through pages filled with intricate sketches. Keanu leaned in, studying them with genuine admiration. These are amazing, he said, pointing to a sketch of a forest scene. You've got a real eye for detail. Have you ever shown your work to anyone? She shook her head. Not really. I don't think anyone would care. Well, I think it's time to change that, Keanu said, a spark of determination in his voice. What if I helped you get the supplies you need? Better pencils, sketch pads, maybe even paints. Olivia's eyes widened. You'd do that? Of course, Keanu said. But there's a catch. She stiffened, her guard going up again. What kind of catch? You have to promise me something, he said, leaning closer. You can't stop drawing. No matter what happens, no matter how hard things get, you have to keep going. Deal? Olivia considered his words carefully, then nodded. Deal. Keanu smiled, raising his coffee cup. To new beginnings. Olivia hesitated, then clinked her mug against his. To new beginnings, she echoed. As they left the cafe, the rain had eased into a soft drizzle. Keanu flagged down a cab, giving the driver an address to a nearby art supply store. You don't have to do this, Olivia said, though her tone lacked its earlier resistance. I know, Keanu said. But I want to. The store was a treasure trove of colors and creativity. Olivia's eyes widened as they stepped inside, her earlier skepticism replaced by wonder. She moved hesitantly through the aisles, her fingers brushing over sketch pads, colored pencils, and watercolor sets. Keanu watched her with a smile. Pick whatever you need. Olivia hesitated. I don't want to spend too much. Don't worry about that, he assured her. Just get what you need to create. With Keanu's encouragement, Olivia selected a modest assortment of supplies. At the register, the clerk scanned the items, casting Keanu a curious glance but saying nothing. As they left the store, Olivia clutched the bag tightly, her expression a mix of gratitude and disbelief. "Thank you," she said softly. "I don't know why you're doing this, but, thank you." Keanu smiled, resting a hand on her shoulder. "You don't have to understand it, Olivia. Just promise me you'll use this chance to do something amazing." She nodded, a hint of hope flickering in her eyes. For the first time in a long time, she felt like maybe, just maybe, her dreams weren't entirely out of reach. The next morning, sunlight filtered through the city streets as Keanu stepped out of his modest hotel room. His thoughts were consumed by Olivia, her resilience, her talent, and the way she carried herself as though hope was a luxury she couldn't afford. He had spent most of the night making calls, rallying contacts, and setting plans in motion. Now, it was time to act. A spark of opportunity. Keanu's first stop was a local community center known for its youth outreach programs. The director, a kind woman named Grace, welcomed him warmly, though her curiosity was evident. "Mr. Reeves, this is an unexpected pleasure. What brings you to us today?" Keanu explained Olivia's situation, her talent for art, and her need for support. "I want her to have a chance to nurture her gift," he said. "But it's more than that, she needs stability, a place where she can feel safe." Grace nodded thoughtfully. "We do run art workshops and mentorship programs, but our resources are limited. Still, if you're willing to support her enrollment, we'd love to have her join." Keanu smiled. "Not just enrollment. Let's expand what you're doing. More workshops, better supplies, and scholarships for kids like Olivia. Whatever you need to reach more children, I'll fund it." Grace's eyes widened. "That's incredibly generous. Are you sure?" "I've never been more sure," Keanu said, his tone resolute. "Let's give her, and others like her, a reason to believe in themselves." Delivering the news. Later that afternoon, Keanu returned to Olivia's park. She was sitting on the same bench, sketchbook open on her lap, her pencil moving with quick, precise strokes. This time, her new supplies were spread out beside her, a splash of color against the gray pavement. "Hey, Olivia," Keanu greeted, his voice light. She looked up, a shy smile playing on her lips. "You came back." "I told you I would," he said, sitting beside her. He glanced at her sketch, a vibrant cityscape bursting with life. "That's incredible. You've already used the new supplies?" "Yeah," she admitted, her tone soft but proud. "They make a big difference." Keanu smiled. "I'm glad. But I've got even better news. I spoke to someone who runs a community center nearby. They have art classes and mentors who can help you grow as an artist. I've already signed you up." Olivia's eyes widened. "You're serious?" "Completely," Keanu said. "You'll have everything you need, supplies, guidance, and a chance to showcase your work. What do you think?" For a moment, Olivia was speechless. Then, her lips trembled as tears welled in her eyes. "I don't know what to say." "You don't have to say anything," Keanu replied gently. "Just promise me you'll give it your all." She nodded, wiping her tears. "I will. I promise." A future takes shape. In the weeks that followed, Olivia flourished at the community center. Keanu visited often, checking on her progress and watching as her confidence grew. She thrived under the mentorship of professional artists, her sketches evolving into stunning works of art that captured the attention of everyone around her. One day, during an open house at the center, Olivia's work was displayed alongside other students' creations. Keanu stood in the back, watching as visitors admired her pieces. He overheard a woman murmur, "Whoever made this has real talent." Later that evening, Olivia approached Keanu with a framed sketch. It was a drawing of the two of them sitting on the park bench, the rain pouring around them. In the sketch, he was handing her the bag of art supplies. "This is for you," she said, her voice filled with gratitude. "You gave me more than art supplies. You gave me a chance." Keanu looked at the sketch, his throat tightening. This is amazing, Olivia. "Thank you." She smiled. "No, thank you. A new chapter." Keanu didn't stop at helping Olivia. He partnered with the community center to create the Olivia Initiative, a program aimed at providing art education and resources for underprivileged kids across the city. News of his efforts spread, inspiring others to contribute to the cause. As for Olivia, her story became a beacon of hope for others. She continued to grow as an artist, her work featured in exhibitions and local galleries. But no matter how far she went, she never forgot the man who saw her potential when she couldn't see it herself. Years later, during an interview about her success, Olivia was asked what had made the biggest difference in her life. She smiled, her eyes distant as she recalled that rainy day. "It wasn't just the supplies or the classes," she said. "It was knowing that someone believed in me. That changed everything." Final note. As Keanu Reeves watched Olivia's journey unfold, he knew he had done more than just help one person. He had planted a seed of hope that would grow, inspiring countless others to reach for their dreams. And for him, that was worth more than any role he could ever play.